How do you generate listing leads right now, during COVID-19 and after? What are the strategies that are currently working? In today's video, we have 10 unique strategies that you can start using right away to start generating listing leads. My name is Michael Montgomery with Rev Real Estate School, and I help agents go from 0 to 50 deals per year using systems, marketing, and sales skills. So you never have to worry about where your next deal is coming from. Today, we're talking about how you can generate listing leads in today's world. So during COVID-19 and after, there are 10 strategies that I find are working extremely well right now. Let's dive in and look at these 10 different ways that you can start generating listing leads as a real estate agent. First off, the free CMA, or the AVU, the Annual Valuation Update. What is this and how does it work? Well, every single year for your current, future, and past clients, you do a CMA for them for free, out of the blue, unsolicited. This works like a charm. A, it keeps you in touch with your clients. B, it helps them understand where their value is in case they're thinking about real estate. If they are thinking about real estate, even if you haven't been in touch over the past while, this is a great way to rekindle that relationship. Also, you can use my exact email script in the description below, and what I recommend in using your script when you're sending this by a PDF is ask them if there's anybody else that could also benefit from receiving one of these. They then think about you as how they can refer you to their friends and their family because you gave them this free unsolicited CMA. It's relatively easy to put together. I recommend using your MLS software, or if you'd like to use a tool such as Cloud CMA, choose 3 to 4 comparables, make a few adjustments, make it good, make sure that you're doing a great job of this because it reflects on your business, send it off by PDF, and watch what happens. If you send this to all your past clients, current and upcoming, you will guaranteed get 1 or 2 listings out of it right away. Next, we have the email newsletter. Now, this isn't something new. This is something that I'm sure you've heard of before and maybe something that you're already using. However, what I find, most agents are not using it enough and or not doing it right. So what is the best way to start generating listings using an email newsletter? Well, first off, you have to have the software. So this can be anything. It can be the CRM that you use. If you want a free tool, you can use MailChimp. My personal favorite is ConvertKit. I'll have that linked up in the description below as well. What you do though is every single week you send an email newsletter. Okay? It doesn't have to be extensive, but people need to see you showing up in their inbox every single week. So you may be thinking to yourself, won't they get annoyed and unsubscribe? Well, I find the answer to that is no. I find that people that are going to unsubscribe, they'll unsubscribe whether you're sending it to them every single month, every single day, or every single week. Those people that are receiving it every single week, even if they're not opening it, they're going to see your name at the top of their inbox every single week. It's extremely effective. Now, the next thought going through your mind is, what do I put in this email newsletter? Well, I have 4 things that I recommend you put in every single email newsletter. And by putting these things in, you never really have to think about what you're going to put in your next email newsletter because you just follow this same structure. So first off, I have a real estate market update. This is a short little paragraph, or it can be an image pulled from your MLS board showing the stats, just showing how many sales have occurred over the last week. Interesting, people like to hear about it. Next, I do an interesting listing of the week, either my listing or another one, and I drive people to my website. This is just some cool listing that I saw online that I wanted to share with my database. Fantastic. Next, I have my listings and my buyer's criteria. Okay, so what is this? First off, if you have any listings, make sure they go into every single email newsletter so you have your listings showcased on there. And then next, this is one thing that a lot of people miss, is including your buyer's search criteria. So if you have 3 or 4 buyers on the go right now, just put 1 or 2 lines for each one of those buyers and what they're looking for. This is a fantastic technique. Not only do your buyers love it, but also it shows that you're out there working with buyers, and it shows that you are engaged in the real estate community. Finally, I just have a little bit of information about some events that are potentially coming up. And this, a lot of times you can pull this from different websites from around your city. And if you don't use that one, that's totally fine. Have at least the market, an interesting listing, and then your listings and buyer criteria. Send this off once a week, and whatever you do, stay consistent with it. It pays off. Now, if you're sitting there thinking, moving on to the next strategy, how do I get people on this list? Well, first off, everybody that you've worked with before. Make sure your CRM's up to date, of course. Make sure all the names in there are going to your email newsletter in MailChimp or ConvertKit or whatever it is that you use. So that's number one. Next, what happens if you just want to start adding names to this? Well, the best strategy that I've found, and this works very, very well, is write a nice piece of content and use it as what's called a lead magnet. So a lead magnet is a piece of content that people will trade their email for this piece of content. Now, this piece of content should be really good. It shouldn't necessarily just be, here's a listing or something along those lines. It should be a piece of content that people really want to read. So here are 3 ideas that you can use as lead magnets to actually provide value for those people that are joining onto your email newsletter list. First off, selling strategies in X year. So instead of just selling strategies, I use selling strategies in 2021 or whatever the year is. This is great because people know that every single year has a little bit of a different dynamic. So this one works very well. Next is best communities to live in your city in X year. Okay, this one works well too. Now, if you're thinking this is definitely more buyer centric, that would be true, but we also have to understand that sellers are also buyers. Therefore, a lead magnet like this can go a very long way. Finally, one that gets a lot of signups from people that are truly interested or thinking about selling is a very simple lead magnet that says, should I sell this year in your city? So if you're thinking, how do I put this together? Use a tool, a free tool such as Canva. There's lots of great templates on there, and all you need to do is have 1 or 2 pages worth of content. Now I know that sounds like a lot of work, but it's definitely worth it because these email newsletter subscribers, these are going to be your future clients. You're going to nurture them week over week using your email newsletter, and then from there they will become your clients. Make sure you do a good job of this. You don't want people trading an email address for a junky piece of content. Make sure that it is a good piece of content. And if you need help writing it, you can always get a freelancer, somebody off Fiverr, to help you design it. If you just write the content and then they can actually design it for you. Moving along to number 4, Instagram polls. So we always have to be where our clients are. For the most part, our clients are spending the majority of their time on Instagram. We have some clients that are focusing more on Facebook, most are on Instagram, and then some on LinkedIn. I find Instagram polls can be a fantastic tool. The reason being is by putting up a poll, and it can be a very simple poll that simply says, have you had any thoughts of buying or selling this year? Yes or no? Now, in my experience, you're going to have more no's than yes. However, the whole point of this are people that are seeing this come up in a story are seeing this Instagram poll and they're thinking, you real estate agent, you real estate agent, you real estate agent. And that's the point of the poll. It's interactive, people like it, and they're considering you as a real estate agent. That is why it can be very effective. Now, don't post this every single week, of course, because then it's just going to become annoying. I would say post something like this once a quarter. And then from there, you will see that this will turn into conversations in your DMs in Instagram. Number 5, and this comes from my friend Sean Carpenter. This is a fantastic technique. What it is your social media high fives. How it works, every single day you go on to social media and you write 5 comments. So this isn't 5 likes or 5 reactions to posts. Those are forgettable. We want to be unforgettable. Therefore, we have to comment on 5 posts. So you do this every single day. It avoids you just endlessly scrolling. Now you're scrolling looking for things to comment on. And you'll notice when you start commenting, these conversations then come offline. They come off of Facebook and onto text message or to the phone or within the DMs or instant messenger. This is a very, very effective strategy. I've seen it work wonders in my business. Number 6 is shadow your mentor. Okay, so if you're listening to this and you're a new agent, you should definitely be looking to find yourself a mentor at your office, in your city, somewhere you should have a mentor. If you're watching this and you say, I'm an experienced agent, I don't necessarily think I need a mentor, I would recommend thinking again. This is a great technique. And why? Well, simply, if you're experienced or new, having somebody to learn from will go a long way. Everybody has a slightly different way of showing a house, of conducting a listing presentation. And here's the thing about real estate, is when I'm showing a house, I don't get to see how my mentor or how another agent in my office shows a house. In fact, I would never see that simply because I'm showing the house on my own. Now, how does this lead to listing leads? Well, in fact, you're going to gain so much knowledge and so many strategies. It's actually not necessarily a direct listing lead strategy, other than it just opens your mind up to so many new ways of doing business. Now, regardless of where you're at, this technique will go a long way. You'll find yourself almost instantly learning from that person, and that person will learn from you. You're going to find different things to point out in homes. They're going to find out different things to say in front of clients. This is a technique you should use throughout your whole career, and it will lead to more business, not only listing business, all sorts of real estate transactions. Number 7 is video email. Video email is a new way of communicating. It's a new way of communicating one-to-one. Okay, so it's not one-to-many like Instagram where you post and lots of people can see it, but it's one-to-one. And in real estate, one-to-one interactions are the most powerful. This is where you really get to know somebody. Now, video email works so well because you can see the other person, you can see their body language, and it's more of a connection. Now, why I compare this to, say, Instagram or Facebook is because I think down the road, a lot of people will be using video email. But you can be one of the first people. Now, this has been around for a few years. There's tools such as BombBomb, or if you want a free tool, use Loom. That's a fantastic tool. You drop it right into your email, and it actually shows a really nice little screenshot, and then you can send it off from there. I've seen this go a really, really long way. You always get a response, and also people are watching it, they're seeing you, and they're connecting with you. Start using video email if you haven't yet. My recommendation, you don't want to make this a 3-4 minute video. You want to make it 30 to 45 seconds. You're simply jumping on video, you're using your webcam, it doesn't have to be polished, and you're simply asking them, how are you doing? What's going on? How's your house? And you're doing this over video. Now, it's going to feel a little uncomfortable off the start. The more of these you do, before you know it, you'll just be a natural. Number 8, and this one seems like more work, but it's really not, and it will go a very long way, is make sure, if you haven't done this yet, start a local podcast. Now, if you're thinking, how the heck do I start a local podcast? It's truly not that challenging. All you need is a microphone, and then you need a tool to host your podcast, and then from there, you start your podcast. Why do I think this is so important? Well, the local podcast is just that. You are creating local connections, okay? And my recommendation is make it an interview style podcast, especially for real estate. My local podcast, I interview local entrepreneurs and interesting people. I find this to be a fantastic tool to generate listing leads because you are just talking to more people, more conversations. And a lot of times these people that are coming onto my show, they're local entrepreneurs. They know a lot of people. We start talking, we form a fantastic professional relationship. And really the startup cost is not that expensive, and figuring out the technology behind it is also not too challenging. It's also COVID-19 friendly because you can do it over Zoom or Skype or Google Hangouts, whatever works for you. This is a great technique, and it will serve your business for years to come. It's not something you just do now and then it's done, because it continues on. And you'll learn a lot from the guests. I have absolutely loved it, got a lot of listing leads from my local podcast. Number 9 is the weekly draw. So my recommendation is every single week, you simply choose a client. Now, you can pull the name out of a hat if you want to do the weekly draw, or you just choose a client every single week. You simply send them a $10 coffee card, handwritten note, coffee card in there, and say that they won your weekly draw, okay? And you send this out every single week. Now, 52 weeks of the year, so if we're doing $10, we're talking just over $500 per year for this sort of strategy. This is really, honestly, It's one of the best ways that you can spend that sort of money. Finally, number 10, and this really ties in all of those strategies together. So all of those first 9 will be tied together through this strategy. What it is just increasing conversations. So the person who speaks to the most people in real estate will do the most business. Hard stop. You talk to more people, you sell more real estate. Now, the reason why I'm saying talk to more people, and you might be thinking, okay, this has to be face-to-face, and it can be, however, it doesn't have to be. During COVID-19, we're not getting face-to-face. It can be over Zoom, it can be over text, it can be over email, it can be over social media. Increase your conversations, increase your real estate production, period. If you slow down how much you're talking to people, your business will slow down too. Isn't that actually pretty exciting in a lot of ways? All I have to do is talk to more people, and if I talk to more people, then I'm going to sell more real estate and my business will increase. Really, it doesn't matter where we're talking to them. We can be talking to them over sports. We can be talking to them over social activities. We can be talking to them over mutual interests, whatever that might be. But increasing conversations will lead to increasing business. Always be thinking about that. Those are our 10 strategies. If you are liking this information, remember to subscribe and hit the bell below so that you're notified when new videos such as this come out. And in the comments below, let me know, are there any listing strategies that are working really well for you? Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next lesson.